man. How you feeling?
I feel great. I feel really good. I feel thin, but I feel good. No, I feel solid. So everything's been coming along pretty good. Training's been great. I haven't been like training a lot, like in the gym per se, but I've been table time pretty consistently. Especially leading up to this. There's times I've tried to do at least twice a week, and just staying consistent. Some things feel stronger than ever, but then there's other parts, that seem to slack. That's just kind of the way it goes. You got to work on your weak points.
You want to talk about those weak points, or will you let
Absolutely not. 100% not. No.
Totally.
If they're able to I don't think it matters, to be honest. I don't think they'll be able to capitalize on those weak points, because in order to achieve those things, you have to take certain aspects from me. And the certain aspects that I train for, I do train for, they're very hard to take. And you can't take certain things. So, yeah, that's the way it is. My leverage is just too much. That's it. That's all it boils down to, is the leverage. So at my weight class at 209, the leverage is just ridiculous. Even if I lose just a little bit of strength, it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, most of the time I walk around like 215 anyways. So I only dropped like 6 pounds. Yeah, I only dropped like 6 pounds.
Huh.
Wasn't that big of a deal.
That answers kind of a lot of questions that I have, but I do want to dive into it a little bit more, because it's always everybody knows Ryan Carter, especially in the state of Texas. Ryan Carter,
thank you.
He's the man. So what you're telling me is that table time is the focus strategically as of the last 10 weeks. I think you've known about this, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me now, yes. At this point in time, the table time is really what I boil it down to. I think you can really work on your weak points in the gym, and focus on those target areas. And that's really important. If you're really trying to really strive for that next level, you have to do those things. You have to work on your weak points. You have to work those spots where you feel is trouble. I got almost going on 3 kids now. It's harder for me to do that, but I can strive at the level I'm at. So over the next, couple of years, I will stay exactly where I'm at. I might progress a little bit, but I'm not going to take those big steps. Can't do that. I don't have the time. But that's fine. No big deal. So, yeah.
In the gym, what does that look like for you? You know what I'm saying. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. When I do train, when I'm very, even now, I hit the gym at least once or twice a week. Yeah, it's pretty standard. Not uncommon. But a lot of times I will do higher repetitions. I work. I do interval training. Sometimes I'll do some heavier sets, and then sometimes I'll do the lighter sets. I say lighter, but everyone has their own opinion on that. But sure. I'll do a lighter set and go heavier repetitions. But I like a lot of heavier repetitions, especially for arm wrestling. A lot of heavy, a lot of repetitions, just lots of reps. For me specifically, that works really, really well. I get a lot of growth out of that. It promotes a lot of growth. And then I feel like, the bigger the muscle is, the more strain it can eventually take. So, eventually you got to test it. You got to test that muscle. But, building that muscle up and building that initial strength is very big. And then you can, add on a lot of strength after that once you've built the size. But, you got to have that size first.
So in other words, a lot of volume is where you're spending a lot of time. However, you do test yourself in the sense that you will go heavy, just not as frequently as some other arm wrestlers.
No, I small muscles. It's just because I've done it in the past. And you end up getting hurt. You end up hurt for a week, 2 weeks. You just can't really lift that, and it just it's detrimental for me. It might work for other people, but for me, my body type is detrimental for me. So I don't do it. When I did do that, I did it when I was in my 20s, and it did work, yes. But I found that I was getting injured a little bit more. So for me, I look more towards longer matches. I'm not, a lot of times I like to flash pin, but if I can't do that, then we end up in a banger, dude. What am I going to just walk in toasted the next round? No, you have to have a little bit of endurance here. And I think doing all those 1 reps, it just burns you out. You just, when it comes to time to really, put the pedal to the metal, sometimes you burn out.
Yeah.
And you see it. Guys do it all the time. You know, they do those 1 reps. It's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. It's great. But if I stop you, what are you going to do?
Yeah. What does a day look like? What is a day like a Monday? Say you work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What does that look like for Ryan Carter?
So like a regular split.
Yeah.
All right. So normally on Mondays so I do a very traditional back biceps, press, pull, and legs. So very traditional. I stick to that. It's very easy. And then I'll also throw in specific arm wrestling workouts on pull day. So I typically will, do, and then I'll cycle it out. But normally I try to hit arm wrestling practice on Wednesdays if I go on Wednesdays, and then I have host practice here on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So at my practice, I get a lot of lighter guys, specifically like 154 to 200.
Mm-hmm.
I got tons of them, all the guys. So that's what I have to train with, and that's fine. I'm okay with that because that's what I work with. I work with lighter weight. I do a lot of reps, so I'll sit here with these guys and let them bang on me. It's no big deal, and I'll just let them take my hand and bring it back. Full extension, let them take that thing. Don't take it all, and then you bring it back. So and that's the training I do. I like training like that, especially now. It's easy to get away for the arm wrestling once a week, and really tear myself down. But getting away, like 4 times out of the week is tough. But when I train, typically like very standard, I normally do the push pull legs, and I'll cycle that workout. And it depends. I like intensity too.
Your pull days is where the specific arm wrestling comes in.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It depends. Yeah, it depends.
It makes sense.
So if I'm going to go and I'm going to go to arm wrestling practice on Wednesday, I'm probably going to do legs on Tuesday. So it's just to release all that extra testosterone. That way, whenever I walk in to do arms on, arm wrestling practice, I'm training arm wrestling. And then that way, you have all that extra testosterone. You're going to get tore down better. That's at least how I've worked it in the past. And I try to do the same thing with tournaments because, I guarantee you, come this Wednesday, I'm going to do legs. That way, I release all that extra testosterone. That'll be my last day if I work out. It'll be Wednesday. That'll be the last day I work out. Then I give it a few days, just relax. No arm wrestling specific things for 2 weeks. Give it, so my last training was last Saturday. Not the past Saturday, the one previously.
So you're feeling healthy?
Oh man, I'm in better shape than I've ever been.
That's
injuries wise. Yeah, injuries. I have no injuries at this point in time. I don't feel any creaks or pains or anything like that on the table. And previously, I was kind of feeling that. I think maybe 2 years after the Anthony Lowe match, I think I was training for Bedwell the first time I went against Bedwell, and I was training for that. And I ended up tweaking my arm. I was doing some really heavy hammer curls. I was just getting out. I was doing too much. It was overtraining. And it was just constant because I was always working that certain thing because, I had some overtraining issues with my brachialis and my right arm, and it just hurt. So doing any kind of hammer curl bothered me. And I could train other things. I could actually train pronation specifically, and it didn't bother it. So for a long time, I didn't even do hammer curls. I was just doing pronated curls because it worked the same thing, same concept, for me at least, the same concept, same area where I was wanting to train. And but I don't have any of those issues now. So I feel great. Sometimes someone would get me right in that spot. The Robert Moscata had a great way of just crunching down, straight down, and he'd hit that one spot and it would just inflame. Yeah. And I don't have any of that now. I can pull Robert all day. It doesn't bother me one bit. So it's no big deal now. But that's really the only injury I've ever had.
Yeah, I can't tell you how excited that makes. I'm super pumped for this weekend, but I can't tell you how more excited that makes me feel. But you have been, and it's interesting to hear you talk this way because it sounds like you're very strategic and methodical in the way that you train. A lot more. It's not that I didn't expect it. It's just I couldn't wait to hear it from Ryan Carter. And so, but it goes to show though, you have been at the top of Texas for a pretty considerable amount of time.
Yeah, I'd say 5 years. 5 years.
Has your perspective on this sport changed over the years? I mean, what in a way, what is next for you? What are you looking at? What are your goals?
So you're right, it has kind of changed. I would have to say, from the beginning level to getting to like number one, like that right there, like the state of Texas, growing in that, it was huge. I think that was the best time I had. Was that little spurt, and it might have been the age because you're really competitive. Late 20s, you're right there. That's your peak, and so that was really good. I really really enjoyed that. It was really fantastic. And then, now I'm having kids, and I still really enjoy arm wrestling. I really like arm wrestling. I host practice at my house like every Saturday. I love arm wrestling, and it's just, but I just, it's hard to commit the time that I want to. And like, I know what it takes to be like, really good. I know what it takes, and it's hard. Like, I can't commit that, like, from like my personal time with my family. Like, there's so much more things I'd rather do, like spend time with my kids or whatever the case may be. But I still really want to freaking arm wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoy it. But so I'm just like, I'll continue doing the arm wrestling, like training and all this stuff. I'm gonna continue, but like, it's hard for me to like focus like I used to. Like when you train on I've been training like in the gym for, going on probably 20 years going on, even before that, but it wasn't consistent. But yeah, I've been training in the gym for 20 years. So I had a really good solid foundation coming in. I started out really hot, and I came in, I was pretty good. And then it took me a couple of years to figure it out. And then once I did, it was on. And I don't think it's going to ever stop. Like I said, I think it amazes me because, like I said, I don't really train too much, like I didn't have to drop a lot of weight for this because I was already at like 210, 212 because I just hadn't really been working out consistently. Yeah. But then guys come to my practice and, guys that, I know where they're at, I know where I'm at compared to them. And I fill them out and I'm just like, damn, like I'm fucking strong. Like I'm really strong, man. Like, how am I doing this? And it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. And I just have to say, it's probably just the leverage. It has to be the leverage. I can only imagine and it doesn't help, the big freaking hands. It takes everything away, especially at my weight class. You just don't see guys my height at that lever. You don't see it at 209. It's not gonna happen. So that's what I see. If I see myself winning the whole thing, and I either see it going extremely one-sided, or it's gonna be a banger. I see either me flash pinning everybody. And that's not going to be fun for anyone. I don't want to end up doing that. I hope it's going to be a banger. And I think it will be. I think Cody Haggett has an extremely strong bicep. He loses his freaking hand every time. Cody, stop losing your damn hand. But if he didn't, man, oof. Yeah, if Cody Haggett kept his hand, I don't know what it is. It's his right hand. At least the last few times I pulled him. It might have changed. But last few times I pulled him, his right hand just, it went. Yeah. And, he has a strong bicep, so it's hard to pin him. But, it doesn't matter. Once you take their hand, unless they're just crazy, you got it. But that'd be unfortunate. I'd hate to, get in a banger with Cody and end up just, toasted because I sat there like that the whole time. That sucks.
But
that's how it goes. And then Caleb does have a strong hand, so I think Caleb would win it if I'm not pulling on. I think Caleb's got it.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about because, the way that this is set up, this is a triple elimination, and so Ryan Carter goes 2-0, he's still pulling again. You're pulling everybody, and this is your. This will be your first time on Flashbin. And so you have the set grit and every single one, which I think that actually puts you at
I like set grit.
Yeah, I think it puts you.
It's not hard. Honestly, when I train, man, I don't try to take any grip. I let my opponent grip up and I take a fair grip and I start straight because that's how I'm gonna get it in a tournament. So why cheat? And I don't care. Like, it's weird because like people do. I got a lot of guys that come to my practice that bring their video stuff and like I don't care. I don't care. Like, bro, pin me, pin me.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Like I will get blown out, and then they'll walk up and try to go for it, bro. Go for it. Like it makes me want to hold them. Makes me not want to let them pin you. And I'm sitting in there trying to fight it, and I don't care. Like pin me. Like it's okay. Pin me on camera. I don't care.
Yeah.
But in a tournament, try it in a tournament. Try. I dare you. Try. Good luck.
Well, what I wanted to ask is that, and you kind of answered it already, but with these guys you're talking, you've pulled every single one of them. So you've pulled Danny Sharif. You had, I think Caleb was telling me that you had a super match with him a year or two ago. Is that right?
Yeah.
And it ended up in 2-2 is what he said. Now, I did not watch that match. I don't know. Is that right?
Yeah, it's right. He never had a pin on me, though. It was all elbow fouls on my part. Because he kept driving off the back. He drove me off the back. It was shitty. It was cheap, but it's all good.
Yeah. And then Caleb pulled him at Louisiana State, and he seemed real confident about it when I talked to him tonight about Danny.
About pulling Danny?
Yeah. He beat him twice at Louisiana State, and he seemed really confident. But you fooled everybody here, and so my question is all of these guys are hungry killers, and they are, and you know that. So I'm like, what drives Ryan Carter to want to be a part of this?
Money. I like money.
All right.
Yeah, I've seen the productions y'all do, and y'all do a great job. So I mean, I was really interested already in kind of doing the productions. It didn't really matter to me about the money, but it is nice to see cash. So I'm definitely doing it to get a little bit of I honestly haven't pulled in a while. It's been a while. I was gonna pull at Texas State, but Texas State's freaking 13 hours away.
Basically across the country. Yeah.
And like I said, I got kids and stuff. You put it, most of the tournaments I'd ever go to, most of the time would be within a day's. I go there in a day and I come back that night. It's normally what I do, and I normally will go anywhere between 4 to 5 hours at max. And unless I'm flying somewhere, and if I'm flying somewhere, I got a sponsor or something like that. Someone's paying for it. So, yeah, I still, I'm here. Y'all want to pull me? Y'all come call me, pull me. I will be more than happy to take your money. You want me to pull? I will take your money. Come on. Who you got?
I love it. The living embodiment of Texas pride. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, so I can't tell you how excited I am. I think we're going to talk, one more time before everything goes down. I can't tell you how excited I am because I love arm wrestling so much, and this particular one is going to be fun. It's going to be they're all going to be fun, but this one
it's going to be a banger. I call it so I get first, Caleb gets second, Cody gets third, and then Danny comes in last.
I like it. Anything that you want to say to your opponents?
Buckle up, Buttercup. Buckle up. No, it'll be fun. I think it'll be great fun. I hope I flash pin every one of you.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't know if that'll happen. It might. It could possibly. Their hand might be too strong. If my hand's too strong, then it's just too much. It's way worse.